Hey guys, Sapphire Yagami with the review of Once Upon a Time, Season 4, Episode 1, A Tale of Two Sisters. Now, the show begins with, we see this king and queen, they're on a boat, it's sinking, waves, it's a terrible storm, and the queen is quickly trying to write a letter and, saying to her husband, who's like, we have to try to hurry up and, try to abandon the ship, try to survive, pretty much try to survive. And she's like, they must get this letter, all this stuff, so she puts the letter into a bottle and, pretty much throws it over, hoping it reaches, her girls. And then, of course, the king and queen breaks in a hug as we see this massive wave pretty much, just swallow up the ship. Then we go over to 5 years later and we see Anna and Elsa, visiting the parents' graves, putting, flowers on them, and, saying how much they missed them and stuff. And then Elsa tells Anna she has something to show her, something to give her. And she's like, it's for your wedding day. So now we know that, that Anna is getting married to, Kristoff. And so then we have Elsa showing her sister this wedding dress, which was their mother's. And as Anna is going to try the dress on, Elsa stumbles upon this journal, right? And so she's reading it, and she starts, as we know from the movie, if you've seen Frozen, the Disney movie, that when Anna gets to a point of fear or, some sort of emotional distress, the snow starts to build up, So while she's reading the journal, we start seeing little flurries of snow, let it go. And Anna's like, Elsa, what's wrong? And so this Elsa's like, it's all my fault. So we see her run off. I'm like, oh my god, Elsa, didn't you learn from the movie? Don't just run away. Face your fears head on. So Anna follows her sister into the woods, and she finds out from the journal that Elsa is blaming herself for her parents' death because their parents went on the ship not for a diplomatic reason. They went to go to this place known as the Mist Havens to find out, pretty much, probably try to figure out why Elsa has these gifts. So this is why Elsa is blaming herself. And so Elsa and Anna, mostly Anna, she wants to, go to the Mist Havens and figure out what mom and dad was trying to, do over there, right? So Elsa's like, no, we don't need to and stuff like that, because you're getting married soon and there's still so much planning that needs to be done, because Anna, all weddings are expensive, but given the fact that Anna is a princess, her wedding will be even more expensive than the average person, right? So it's the next day, and Elsa's like, looking for her sister Anna, so she goes to Kristoff, who's in the barn with Sven, I think that's how you pronounce Sven, the reindeer, right? And so, he's pretty much telling, he eventually tells Elsa that, Anna is on the ship going to the Mist Havens. And Elsa's scared, because they obviously have not been outside of Arendelle. And so going to this place known as the Mist Havens, which we find out is actually called it's also known as the Enchanted Forest. And Elsa is scared, because her sister's going to be her own, but Kristoff's like, she's a grown woman, you're always going to be there to, protect her or something like that. So that was good to see that part of the Frozen storyline. Especially in terms of parents. So when we do see the parents, they have no idea. If you remember the movie, the parents are concerned about Elsa's gifts and stuff. So so they end up locking them inside the castle, and then we know in the movie that they left and they died. They died. Trying to go somewhere. So we never knew where they was going in the movie. But, with Once Upon a Time, they gave us a reason and a way to connect it to, the characters that we already know and love on the show already. And so we go to present day, and if you remember from the season finale of last season, Elsa is leaving the barn, and she sees the sign that says, storybook, and she's curious, because you got to remember, Elsa is in a time frame that it doesn't have all this technology and all this new stuff. So when she stumbles upon this van, which has Grumpy and Sleepy inside it, even though I don't know why Grumpy decided to let Sleepy, the dwarf, drive the car. He's called Sleepy for a reason, because he falls asleep at the wheel, and Grumpy's trying to steer it, and he's talking to Horn and Elsa. Elsa doesn't know what that is. She has never seen a car before. She's used to carriages, and reindeer, and horses, and wolves. She has not seen a van in her life or any sort of car. So if she gets scared and she freezes it, right? And now she's, and she continues walking. So as she walks into the store books, the next day is a beautiful morning. She's seeing all these things she hasn't seen before. She's seen cars, signs, lights, all this stuff. So she's like, where the hell? Pretty much like, where the hell am I? And as she gets, as it says, it's something completely new to her. She has no idea what she is, and she's scared. She's literally leaving a trail of ice everywhere she goes, and it's like, little bit of frozen things, getting icy, right? And so, while Elsa is trying to figure out what the hell she is, we go over to where we left off last time at the cafe, Granny's Cafe, with Regina, who is upset with Emma for bringing back Marion. And Marion doesn't understand that Regina is not the woman that she used to be when she met her. She's not the evil queen that she knew. And so when Emma comes outside to talk to Regina, she is then followed by Robin Hood, who is then followed by Maid and Marian, who is then followed by Snow and Charming with little Prince Neil in arms. And she's like, Maid and Marian is freaking out like, don't you know who she is? Don't you know what she has done? And and they're all pretty much trying to tell her that, she's not the same woman. She has changed, and, and Meredith is going on, she's a monster. And, Regina's like, this can't take this anymore, because her first instinct, like, you see her wanting to, like, just use a fireball and throw it at Maid and Mary. She goes like this, and she goes, like, you don't know how close, girl, you don't know how close I am to, incinerate you. So, she just walks away, just blow off the scene. So Emma tries to go after her, and Hook like, no, just let her. She just needs some time alone. I don't think she wants to speak, especially to you right now, like mother like daughter. Whew. And so Regina, upset by this, Robin Hood comes to talk to her later, saying that he does love Regina, but that he's a man of his word, and he made a promise when he made Marion that literally gonna have to be to death to his part. So he tells Regina this, which makes her upset, and she breaks a mirror, and she goes up to the pieces of the mirror, and looks at it like, you know what, I'm missing something. So then we see her go to like this hospital. She goes to like this room stuff, and he's like, what do you need? She's like, I need my mirror. So we find her genie, Sydney, aka the mirror, and she pretty much gets him, and she pretty much needs his help because she wants to pretty much get rid of Maid and Mary, because she wants her happiness. Maid and Mary is standing in the way of her happiness. I was like, yes, that evil queen smile. There you go. And so she's going through. She's telling her mirror, Sydney, that she wants to go back to the past to before Emma rescues her, to make sure she does not get rescued, to make sure that broad dies. And then of course Sydney's like, there's pretty much big consequences with trying to change the past and stuff like that, as we all know. So she's flipping, so she eventually flips through the storybook that Henry, always has around. It's called Once Upon a Time. So she's flipping through it, right? She's like, she comes to the realizations like, everything that happens in this book has pretty much have come to pass. Snow White gets her happy ending, and it kind of updated and stuff with, what's going on now. So she's like, she wants to find the people who wrote this book and pretty much have them rewrite it so that the villains get their happy ending. So I'm like, ooh, I want to see how this gonna go, because when it comes to the fairy tales, besides Ariel and Frozen, majority of the other fairy tales are all grim fairy tales. Ariel, the Little Mermaid, and Frozen, aka the Snow Queen, that was written by Hans Christensen. So I'm kind of curious how they're gonna put this together. Like, who is the creator of the books? Because not all of the stories are grim. And so that's Regina's plan. Emma and Hook. Emma is kind of more focused, instead of trying to, as Hook says, live her life, she's starting to avoid him again, He's like, okay, what's going on, Emma, And she's like, well, we got a problem, Regina's mad at me. And he's like, there's always going to be a problem. There's always going to be a situation, that's going to come about that, we're going to have to eventually face. But that doesn't mean you have to literally put all your focus onto that, you know what I'm saying? So obviously Emma's relationship with Hook is still going to take some time. Obviously. And of course everybody's worried about Regina. They're worried that she's going to fall back into a habit of becoming the evil queen, which, as we can see, that she is. And it's good to see that we're going to see more of we didn't see much of Charming and Snow in this episode, but obviously we're going to see more of them, having to deal with parenthood, because they never dealt with it before. And so also there is Rumpelstiltskin. Oh my god, this scene was so beautiful. I was like, oh. Is their honeymoon is, Belle and Rumple, You know, her in her room, she finds this nice place. She said it wasn't here before, but it's here. It's like this really beautiful, like, manor. It's so pretty. And so they walk in, and, you know, she's showing them the place and stuff like that. And this is after they visit Neil's grave, because he was kind of avoiding it, and he made a promise to Neil that, you know, I'm not going to be that person anymore. You know, I'm trying to be a changed man because you have showed me the way. So they're at the little manor, you know, they're showing everything. And so he's mentioned that they never had their first dance, right? So he snaps his finger, and Bella's in her dress, you know, from the movie, and then he's in a, you know, a similar suit. It's not like exact replicas of the Disney costumes that is, you know, the outfits that's in the film, but, you know, he's close to it. And then he plays then the music plays as an instrumental version of Beauty and the Beast, and you just hear na 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 da 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 da. I'm just like, oh, that's so beautiful, and they're dancing. I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. I'm like, all they needed was Lumiere and Mrs. Potts in the background. Still exhausted. I'm like, that's all beautiful. So they had that moment, and then we see Rumpelstiltskin. This box thing is like a box shape and has like jewels on the side. Is obviously is bothering him because he looks at it like, like I've seen this before, right? Because we all know it's Rumpelstiltskin. Who knows what Rumpel has seen, right? So he's seen it before. And so when Bella is asleep, he gets up, he takes the dagger, he actually put the real one in Bella's bag, and now he's taking it out, and he goes to this, you know, thing, and he waves his dagger over it, and then we see it takes this shape of like a hat, and inside, and it's like a triangle looking type hat, and we see like it kind of glowing. I'm like, I've seen this hat before, because when I first saw this hat, I was thinking of Mickey. And when I read some comedy like Fantasia, I'm like, I've never seen Fantasia, but I recognize that hat. So I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be interesting. Ooh, yes. So that's going on with Rumpelstiltskin and Belle. Let's see, back to Elsa. Okay, so Elsa's in a storybook. She comes upon Mrs. Gold's pawn shop. She recognizes her sister's, the dress that she gave her sister, their mom's dress, and when she goes inside, she sees the necklace that she also gave her sister, you know, the snowflake. And now we all know Rumpelstiltskin. Anytime you find something in Rumpelstiltskin's pawn shop, obviously he has something to do with this person, you know. He had something to do with it. So we know that he had something obviously to do with Elsa because the urn that she was in his vote. So we're like, okay, what is the connection between Elsa and Rumpel? So as she's going through storybook, you know, still trying to figure out, you know, what's going on, you know, all this stuff. We see Grumpy and Sleepy talking about, oh my god, you know, there's something weird going on. You know, somebody froze our van. So Emma's like, who? You know, like trying to figure out who it is. And Emma's like, sees it's literally a trail of ice. So they follow it. So Elsa's running because she has no idea who these people are. So, you know, she's getting scared. So Hook and Emma chase her into like this yard thing. And since she's scared, she's hiding behind like the refrigerator. And then she creates a snowman. And my first thought is like, Emma, do you want to build a snowman? Like, apparently Emma didn't want to build a snowman because the snowman then chases them. Now it's not necessarily trying to attack them. It's only attacking them when they like shoot at it or whatever. So they follow it to the forest where Maid and Marian, Robin Hood, and the Merry Men are. And, you know, they're trying to fight it off, you know, Charming and whatnot, and Emma and Hook. And knocks them out. And then it's just Maid and Marian. And then Regina appears. And Marian turns to Regina and goes like, please help me. And then Regina just has that look on her face like, bitch, I'm not going to help you. It's just like that evil queen look, you know, that she always gives. So she looks at her like that. And Mary's like, no. And Regina disappeared. But she just reappeared behind the snowman and, you know, hit him with a fireball. And Mary was like, you saved my life. And I'm like, see, she's not that evil as you thought she is, but she's gonna erase you anyway from ruining her happiness. And so they all thank Regina and everything. And that's pretty much all that happens in Once Upon a Time this episode. So obviously, what I know so far is that Frozen is going to only have a 9-episode arc. So it's only going to be, you know, incorporated into the season for 9 episodes only. Let's see what else is going on. We got to see more of. It was not only that, we're going to see within the season. Hopefully, what we're going to see is Mary Margaret and David having to deal with parenthood, because when they had Emma, they had to automatically give her away because to make sure she was safe from the curse, to come back 28 years later to break it. And so with them, this is the first time they're gonna have to deal with the dirty diapers, the late night crying, the feeding. They're gonna have to be able to because Snow missed all that, as you remember in last season when she said they was robbed of everything. They was robbed of Emma's first word, her first step, her first date, and all this stuff. They was robbed of all that. So they're gonna have to experience this with Prince Neil. Then of course there's Rumple. It's Rumple and Regina. They're both are the show's most popular, favorite, awesomest, coolest villains ever. But the thing is, they have now gotten to this point where they have gotten people to see the goodness that is in them. That was always there, but it was just buried under so much darkness. And the thing is, with them, they have both been presented with these situations where are they going to slip back into the villains that we have known them to be. Is Rumpelstiltskin going to slip back and become the dark one? Is Regina going to slip back and become the evil queen after they have come so far, and have when they have come so far, to make so much progress, to have it, have them, relapse, to see that. And also with Emma, how is she gonna? She has finally realized that her home is here in Storybook, and that that she finally started calling Snow and Charming mom and dad. I'm like, thank goodness, thank goodness. And her relationship with Hook, that's definitely going to be interesting to see how that develops and progresses. And also, hopefully we'll get to see what happened to some of the other characters that we haven't really seen lately, like Princess Aurora and her Prince Philip, and because they're pregnant. What happened to Milan? Because remember, she had joined the Merry Men, so what happened with her? And also, is Ariel and Prince Eric gonna come back? Because we know they're happy ending, so I'm not sure they're gonna have to bring them back. And also Rapunzel, that we had got introduced to, and I'm trying to figure out what other characters. So far, that's all I can think of. And of course, they said in this season that we're gonna see the Knave of Hearts. So also with them bringing in the Knave of Hearts, hopefully it'll give us a flashback of what's going on with him and the Red Queen, Anastasia, and what's going on in Wonderland. And not only that, when will they incorporate Jafar back into the show? Because he was in Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. He was the main villain for that series. And at the end of the series, he becomes the genie like he did in the film. So the question is, who's going to find his lamp and unleash Jafar? The Return of Jafar. And not only that, when will we see Aladdin? Because we got introduced to a genie already. We got introduced to Agrabah already. It's kind of sort of already introduced. So it's like, okay, where we're going to get introduced to, Aladdin, Abu, Jasmine, the Sultan, those people of Agrabah, So that's all for Once Upon a Time season premiere of season 4 premiere of Tale of Two Sisters. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys this Sunday for the next episode number 2 to see what happened to Anna on her trip to the Enchanted Forest.